Hi everyone, welcome to the Fiber Fables podcast. My name is Faith and I'm a knitter living here in Kansas, and this is my space where I talk all about my knitting, spinning, and any other fiber related crafts that I get into. Today I just have a regular podcast for you guys, so I hope you enjoy. So today I'm wearing my blue water wrap that I knit in Lion brand Heartland, which is 100% acrylic in the color Dry Tortugas. It's this sand color. Yeah, it's a very fun textured knitted wrap. I'd highly recommend it. It's by Tressa Widenar. She has a lot of very interesting patterns. I'll link her below so you can check out her Ravelry. So I have 2 knitted finished objects and 2 spinning finished objects that I'll be showing. I'm just gonna start talking about the spinning. So the first one that I have to show you was actually kind of a surprise for me, I guess. I'm just gonna show you. This is what it looks like, oh my goodness. So the fiber is Into the World. I have a fiber subscription with them. And this is in the color Brandish and Bluster. And this is on their Cheviot. I don't think that's how you pronounce it, but it's their Cheviot wool. The fiber's getting into my nose. This is just a 2-ply fractal. It's an Aran bulky weight, depending on what strand you look at. There's a lot of thick and thin in here, as you can see. So this is about 67 yards. So I could probably do a colorwork hat with this, and this could be the contrast. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Oh, it's just so pretty. Yeah. First, I'm so proud of this. These are all the colors that I love. It's amazing. My second one is from the same brand, I guess, Into the World. It's another fiber subscription. This is on their Stricken Lonk, and it's in the color Fellowship. So there's lots of slate blue in it, and there's some hints of like a beige and some swampy green colors. This is also a 2-ply fractal, but I have more yardage on this. This is 85 yards, and it's a worsted Aran weight, so I'm slowly getting to a thinner yarn. I would love to spin fingering weight at some point, but it just takes a lot of practice. But I'm very happy with this too. I have a hat pattern that uses this much yarn, so this might turn into a hat. So these are my spinning, the outcomes of my spinning journey so far. I haven't spun a lot recently just because I'm still experimenting with some things, and it's getting, I don't know, I'm not super motivated to spin. With these 2, I was just spinning because I really liked the colors of the fiber, and I think I need to be more intentional with spinning because there's some things that I've spun that I have no clue what I'm going to use for. Like, I don't know how I'm going to use that yarn. So I think I need to start using the Ravelry page for handspun yarn and logging that, and just being more mindful of like what I want the fiber to become while I'm spinning it. So I'm going to start planning for my spinning instead of just doing whatever, and then it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, but whatever. So on to the knitting. I finished my Cumulus Blouse by Petite Knit. It's not as yellow as it's showing up on camera. It's more pale yellow. I'll put in some B-roll of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like on me. It's by Petite Knit. As I said, I knit size medium, so it has 43 inches for the bust. My bust is 38 inches, so it's pretty oversized. It's a little crinkled because it's been sitting folded. I used all 3 skeins that I had. I held the Suri, oh yeah, I used Mace of Skeins Full House, which is her Suri base, in the color Jalapeño Margarita. I held it double, so I pulled from the center and then I pulled from the outside, so that way I didn't have to like have several, I mean I only had 3 skeins, but so I wouldn't have to like juggle yarn, I guess. Used all 3 skeins, which was 984 yards. So the body is obviously cropped, and I just did a standard bind off, like just like a knit bind off. I was doing the I-cord and then I ran out in the middle, so I had to rip it all out, which was horrible. People are not lying when they say that Suri and mohair is a pain to rip out. I had to cut a lot of it out, and so I just did a regular knit bind off. I shortened the sleeves, and did the I-cord. The I-cord was fun, actually. I kind of like doing an applied I-cord where you pick up the stitches and then you can just do the I-cord. It's really satisfying. It doesn't look like there's any color pooling, which I was actually pretty surprised about. I mean, you can tell that like the other skeins that I used didn't, I mean, have more green than it did up here, but like it's not like super obvious when I'm wearing it, and this lighting is a little bad, so I apologize, but this is so soft and it's so fluffy and squishy and I love it. So I was talking in my last podcast, if you guys would like, if I told you how much the project cost, because I do like to use more affordable yarns, and I kind of have a variety of yarns that I work with. So, and you guys said that you would like that a lot. So this project cost $79.20 for the yarn. I haven't calculated the pattern, but for total, I'll put it all over here. But the yarn cost me $79.20. So yeah, I would highly recommend Mace of Skeins yarn. It's very unique colors, and her Suri base is so soft, and this is very drapey. I haven't worn it yet. When I finish things, I just tend to leave them in my knitting room, and I don't like wear them daily until I talk about it on the podcast and I get pictures of it for Instagram. So I haven't really worn this at all. So I'll report back how the fabric feels on my skin and stuff, but I don't think I'll have any issues. It's very, very soft. So that's a Cumulus Blouse. I would like to knit this again with the longer sleeves and the longer body. And my last finished object is a pair of socks. These are the socks that I knit for my boyfriend for his birthday. His birthday's in a few days. I started, the Cumulus Blouse. Cumulus Blouse. I started this March 16th and I finished it April 16th. So it only took me a month to knit that. It is pretty cropped and the sleeves are short, so it went by fast. But I started these on April 12th and I finished them April 24th. I used 403.9 yards. I think the ball comes in 450 yards, but I used 88 grams. And the ball comes in 100 grams. So what I did is 17 rounds of 2x2 rib, and then I knit the leg for 8 inches, 80 rounds. I did a slip stitch heel and a gusset, and for the gusset decreases so this is a self-drafted pattern. So I do my slip stitch heel, I do 16 repeats, and then I do my heel turn, and then I pick up 16 stitches along the heel flap, and then for the gusset decreases, I decrease 9 times to get back to 64 stitches. And then I knit the foot to 9.5 inches, and then I did toe decreases. So this is an 11-inch long foot. So this project cost me $17. That's how much the yarn ball cost me. But yeah, I kind of got bored of the self-striping bit. But I really wanted to finish these before his birthday, and they're done. And I have another ball of this to make a pair for myself, but that's probably not going to happen for a while because these did get boring. I don't know if it was because I was knitting these for someone else and not for myself, because I think my mindset would have been a little bit different. But finished socks for my boyfriend's birthday. I'm going to move some things around, and we're gonna talk about my whips. All right, so I don't have all of my whips to share with you today because since my deadline for the socks was coming up, I was focusing more on those. So I don't have too many works in progress to show you today. There's still a decent amount of them, but not all of them will be shown today. So I have my Waffle loop sweater by Other Loops. I'm going in order of oldest to newest. So this is my Waffle loop sweater. Oh my goodness. I have everything joined in the round. As you can see, here's the front and here's the back. This thing keeps falling off my shoulders. So here's my progress keeper from last time. That's where I was, and I got the front panel done, and this is how much I have done underneath the armhole. This is so much fun to work on. So these cables, they're supposed to be offset, but I'm not like, yeah, they're supposed to be offset, but you know, it's not that. I kind of like the way you can't really tell anyway, because your brain kind of has an aneurysm when you look at these cables anyway. So, and these aren't like honeycomb cables. They're just, it's one squiggly line, a purl, and then another squiggly, and then two pearls, you know. I think out of all the cables, this twist has to be my favorite. But yeah, so I finished a skein here under the arm, and then I just decided to pick up stitches for the armhole. So I have 4 more skeins left, not including this one. And since I do want this sweater to be kind of long under the underarm, I'm just gonna do a sleeve, see where I'm at yarn wise, finish the body, do the collar, then do the other sleeve. The sleeves are only knit in the waffle texture, which is so nice because the cables, they're not exhausting, but it's nice to have a little break, and this stitch is actually quite mindless. So yeah, that's how far I got on the sleeve. This is so enjoyable to work on. The pattern isn't the most size inclusive, so I wouldn't recommend it in that sense, but it's super fun to work on. I'm using Cloudborn Fibers Superwash Merino Worsted Twist in the color Mulberry. And I'm knitting size 2, which will give me 47 inches for the bust. So that's 9 inches of positive ease for me. I haven't measured gauge, so it could turn out either bigger or smaller. And so far, this is my 3rd skein that I'm using, and this is how far I've gotten. So, super excited for this. Okay, I'm going to be doing some flipping in my notebook because I'm recording on my phone and I can't use my hotspot for my iPad, so I'm just going to be flipping through my notes. So next is my Sheep Camp Sweater by Jennifer Berg, and I've made a lot of progress on it since I last showed it. There's going to be some needles clinking around, so I'm sorry. So I finished the body, and I am working on a sleeve. So I started this on the 4th of March. So it's been a month, almost 2 months since I casted this on. I'm using Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok Worsted, and this dark blue is Loon Lake, and the light blue is Spring Ice. I'm knitting size 3, so the bust will be 45.25 inches. Yeah, so I knit the body to 12 inches, measured under the arm, and I did 16 rounds of 2x2 rib. And I picked up for the sleeve, and I noticed that the sleeves in the pattern are quite fitted, like when you look at her wearing it. But it just compared to like the positive ease, for me at least, because 7 inches of positive ease for me. It just looks strange, the skinny sleeve with the wide oversizedness. I don't know. I don't care too much. I think it'll be fine. But I'm almost done with this sleeve. And when I finished the body, I tried it on because I remember I said that I was going to pick up and do a 2x2 rib. I tried it on, and like the neck sits like comfortably, like where a neckline of a sweater would normally sit. So if I picked up stitches to do a 2x2 rib, it'd be like a straight funnel neck. So I decided I'm not going to do that. And if I was going to change my mind and do it, then I would rip out all of this. Well, insert a lifeline, rip out all the stockinette, like right before where I started increasing. So like right here, and then just do a 2x2 rib. Or like, if you don't like this, what I would do would just be like cast on your stitches and then do a rib and then go straight into increasing. But I don't mind that it's a rolled neck. I like the way it looked on me. So yeah, this will probably be done by the next time you see it, but no promises. But this is, if you haven't tried Blue Sky Fibers, I've only used their Woolstok base, so I can't really speak on their other yarn bases that they have. But I would highly recommend their Woolstok yarn. It's so squishy and soft. It's amazing. Okay, what do I have next? My Moonset tee. Oh my goodness. Also, all of these project bags were made for me by Jenny. I use them all the time. Oh my goodness, I love them. Okay, my Moonset tee. Okay. I was here last time and I picked up, well, I did my little collar thing, and then I picked up for the front left shoulder. And I believe I'm almost done. Actually, I'm almost done with this front, and then I'll pick up these stitches here and then do the same for the right, and then just knit the front for a little bit and then join it in the round. I think I said this before, but like I feel like a professional knitter when I knit with very small needles. This is a 3.25 needle. But no, I'm loving this so much. So I cast this on the 11th of March, so it's almost been 2 months. And it's the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. I'm using Knotty Pine Fiber, her Bighorn sock, which is an 80/20 worsted spun merino nylon blend in the color Whiskey River. I'm knitting the medium size, which is 41 inches. And I'm still on my first skein, and I have 2 more, so I believe that'll be enough. This is where I'm at on my first skein. So it's about probably 50 grams. But yeah, no, this is so much fun to work on. I have it on my Lantern Moon needles on a 40-inch cord because all of my other cords are being used right now. But I did measure my gauge for this one. So the pattern gauge is 26 stitches and 38 rows, but my gauge is 28 stitches and 36 rows. So I don't really care. I'd rather have some more positive ease. So this will turn out just a little bit bigger, but I will have to use some more yarn because of that row gauge issue. So yeah, this is what it's looking like so far. I'm so excited. I love this. I love it. I think like if I think there's a better way to construct this than just having to sew this at the end. Like you could just cast on this and then pick up stitches along here and do the back and shape the back, and then have like these stitches on hold while you do that, so that way when you do the shoulder you can just pick up those stitches and you don't have to worry about this seam here. But that's what I would have done, but maybe sewing this back gives it some more structure so it doesn't droop or something. I don't know, but that's what I would have done. But I'm loving my Moonset Tee, and I think I need to make a whole bunch of them because the pattern is very well written. Okay, flipping in my notes, my fortune sweater. So this is by Petite Knit. I started this on the 10th of March. And I'm using Zakami yarns. They're organic, non-superwash merino, and they're baby Suri alpaca in the color cailleach, and which means old hag in whatever language that is. Maybe that when I like tried to translate it, that's what came up. So I don't know. I'm knitting the medium size, which is 45 inches. And everything is joined, well, I split for sleeves. So this is how much I got done under the arm. And, oh, well, here's my progress keeper from last time, right there. So yeah, this pattern, the neck is folded, but I kind of like this little mock neck situation. So yeah, I can't wait to block this because like the eyelet clovers, they're not really popping out as great, but like when I block it, they'll look more like that and it'll be really pretty. But I really love the color of this yarn. So I don't know like if you'll really be able to like see the depth of color in here. Maybe in the Suri you can see it better. But like even there's no like white, oops. There's no white silk strand. Like the silk strand is dyed like orange. And it's so pretty. I'm in love. But yeah, that's my fortune sweater. I am going to do the 3/4 sleeves because it does get really hot here in Kansas. So I think the eyelets will give it some more like breathability, and the 3/4 length sleeves will also be nice as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna do full length sleeves on that. Okay, I have a test knit to show you. And it's my Brora Pullover Lite by Brianna Mason. I test knitted her Brora pullover, which is a heavier weight one. It's on a 5mm needle. But she's now testing the lightweight version. So I started this on the 1st of April. And I'm using Jody Long Airspun in the color Sapphire. It's the self-striping color fade thing. You can't really see because it's scrunched on the needles, but it started like dark and then it went light, dark to light. I kind of like it. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but as I continue knitting, like, it's really fun. Did I say this is the color Sapphire? It's the color Sapphire. I'm knitting size 3, which will give me a bust of 48.75 inches. So that's about 10 inches of positive ease. And I have to finish this before the 25th of May. And I'm still on my first skein. So I have a few more increased rounds to do, and then I will split for sleeves, and then I can just knit stockinette for the body. And this design does have a split hem, and I'm very excited for that. I love split hems. So yeah, this is really soft. It's a blown yarn. It's a super fine merino with a polyamide strand. Well, the middle is the polyamide, and then the merino's blown into it. It's very soft. Okay. So I didn't get too much done on my anchor tee. Well, I guess maybe I did, but here's my progress keeper. This is another progress keeper that I made. So I guess I got a decent amount done. So this is on a 3.5mm needle, which is a half needle size bigger than what the pattern recommends, which is a 3mm needle. The only 3mm needle that I have is for my Lantern Moon needles, and I don't have a cord that I can use for that, so I just went up a needle size. And this needs to be transferred to bigger needles. But my 3.5 needle is being used for my Una sweater. So it kind of looks like a hat. But I really need... So when I started knitting, I only knit things on 5mm needles. So I think I have 4 or 5 5mm needles. And I don't have a lot of small needles. So I need to get some more of those because I've been gravitating more towards those than my 5mm knits. So I'm using Patton's Linen, which is a cotton linen blend in the color Sweet Potato. I'm knitting the medium size, which is 37.75 inches, which I'm okay with because since I am using bigger needles, since I am using bigger needles, I'm gonna get a bigger size, which is fine. So yeah, this might end up being, I mean, I haven't checked my gauge. When I get to the stockinette part, I will. But I'm not worried if this is like, because with the 37 inches, that's like 1 inch of negative ease for me. So yeah, I'm still on my first game. And I can't wait to like have this finished because I love the whole anchor collection. It's so pretty. Even though like it's simple, but it's pretty. Okay. My champagne cardigan. So I finished my dad's sweater by Emily Curtis. I always feel weird saying dad's sweater, like I'm not knitting it for my dad. But it's blocking. So next podcast, you'll see it. And this was my project that I worked on yesterday. And here's kind of where I was last time. So I started this on the 9th of April, right? Yeah. And I'm using Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok Worsted in the color Wild Thyme, which is this beautiful green color. I don't really know if you can tell that it's green, but like up close, like you can see all those colors. This lighting is terrible, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it looks nice. It's amazing. I'm knitting the medium size, which is 47.75 inches. So it's gonna be a pretty oversized cardigan. This is how much I have left of my first skein. And so I did measure my gauge for this one. So the pattern gauge is 18 stitches and 28 rows. And my gauge is 20 stitches and 29 rows. So it'll be a little bit bigger than 47 inches, but that's totally fine with me. So yeah, I split for sleeves yesterday. And that's how much I got done. When I'm finished with this skein, I'm going to pick up for one of the sleeves. And then I'll go back to finishing the body. Then I'll do the double knit band. And then I'll go back and do the last sleeve. So. And I'm going to knit this cardigan for the body. I'm going to knit it to 13 inches measured under the arm. And then I'm going to do, I believe it's 4 inches of ribbing for the body. So this is going to be like a decent length cardigan for me because I am pretty tall. So yeah. Okay, we already talked about those. I have another test knit that I'm doing for Brianna Mason. And it's her Alino Te. So I have the back done, obviously, and I have the left shoulder finished, and I'm working on the right. So I cast this out on the 14th of April, and I have to finish it before June 1st. And I'm using Lion Brand Kobu, which is a cotton bamboo blend in the color olive. And I'm knitting size 3, which is 39.5 inches. This is my first skein. So this pattern is interesting. So it's a drop shoulder, but to create the drop shoulder, you cast off some of the back stitches, and then at the end, like, you seam it together. So I'm going to cast off stitches here and here, I believe. Which I think is actually really nice because since this is intended for summer yarn, and this yarn is very drapey and I feel like it'll lose its shape pretty quickly, it'll be really nice to have that seam under the arm to give it just some more structure. And I tend to seam things really tightly, so I think that'll be nice. So when the day I cast this on, my boyfriend and I went to the lake with his friend and it was 90 degrees that day. It was hot. And my pen exploded on this. So there is a lovely dark blue stain on this. But it'll be like right here on me, so I'm sure my hair will cover it and it's not going to be that big of a deal. But there is a little design element to this. There's this little like broken rib stripe. And when I pick up stitches, you'll be able to see that more on the shoulder. And it continues through the front. It doesn't continue on the body or anything. It's just like a little like sleeve design. But I'm very excited to finish this. I love working with Kobu. Was that all I have to say? I believe so. I'm almost done with the right shoulder, then I'll work on the front for a little bit, and then I get to knit in the round, and I'm so excited. But that's my other test knit that I'm doing. I like to only have 2 test knits at a time, just so I'm not super stressed. And it's a little bit more manageable for me to just have 2 test knits at a time. So now we're getting in, well, I guess, because you guys haven't seen the Alino Te, so we're getting into new cast-ons. I have my Pure Joy shawl, oh my goodness. So I started this on the 18th, and it's by Joji Locatelli. I'm in the middle of the row. That's just how it's going to be every single time that I show this, because this whole thing is shaped with German short rows. But it is so pretty. Oh my goodness. So I'm using Blackbird Sycamore Super Sock, which is a 75-25, in the color Elevated. So it's this beautiful variegated yarn. And this is how it's working out, which I actually really like. It gives art teacher vibes, and I love it. So this shawl, you do a garter tab cast on, which I've never done before, but it was fun. And then you increase more rapidly on this side than you do on this side. And then you do your eyelets. And then these wedges are shaped, these garter wedges are shaped with German short rows. So even though there is like short row knitting, it's still super mindless. And this is actually my project I'm working on today. And I only have 2 more wedges to do after this one. So this is probably going to be done next time you see it. I don't know. Maybe not next time you see it, but I might finish it in May. So yeah, I just really love how this yarn's turning out. It's so pretty. There's no pooling because of like the short row. You're not going to get, since you're increasing and also doing short rows, you're not going to get the same color like repeatedly on the color. Like you're not going to have like layers of color. So the color, it just looks like a watercolor painting. It's so pretty. I love it. I'm going to leave this out because I'll be working on this one after I finish filming. Okay. The last thing I have to show you is another sock project. And I cast this on immediately after I finished my boyfriend's socks. Oh, one thing that I forgot that I wanted to start talking about was with new cast-ons, I wanted to start talking about how long I've had the yarn. Let me just talk about that real quick. Okay, so I bought this elevated yarn back in January when Blackbird Sycamore made this yarn for me and Abby's podcast, Elevated Stitches. So I've had this since January. And this Kobu, I believe I bought sometime recently. When did I last talk about this? I'll put in how long I've had it over here, but it's not coming to my mind immediately. And then this Blue Sky Fibers. I bought this on my birthday at Cowgirl Yarn when me and my sister went there. It was the last time I've been to Cowgirl Yarn, which I just saw Nitty Natty's Instagram story. She was literally just at Cowgirl Yarn in Laramie. So like if I still lived there and if I was still working at the yarn store, I would have met her. But whatever. Anyway, so I've had this yarn since February. So I'm gonna start doing that with all my new cast-ons because I am someone who acquires a decent amount of yarn every once in a while, and I have a lot of yarn in my stash, and I would just like to talk about like how long things have been in my stash and how long things tend to sit in my stash. But the yarn that I'm using for my new projects is somewhat new, except for this one. So I started these on the 24th of April, and I'm using Knitted Wit, her sock base, which is in 80/20, and it acts like a 75/25 because it's a 4-ply, I believe. There's a lot of twist. It's not a 2-ply like most 80/20s are. So this is a hefty sock base, and it's in the color Bryce Canyon National Park. My boyfriend picked this yarn out because he used to live in Utah, and I miss Utah. Oh my goodness. But Bryce Canyon National Park. Oh wait. I bought this in October of 2023. So that's how long it's been hanging out in my stash. But this is what it's looking like. Oh my gosh. Like, the striping, it's so pretty. Okay, so I cast on 64 stitches, and I did 20 rounds I did a 20 round 1x1 rib, and then I did 30 rounds for the leg. I'm just doing I did my slip stitch heel and turn thing, and I'm just working on my gusset decreases, and then I'm going to knit 70 rounds for the foot, and then I'll do my toe decreases. So even though this looks kind of short, it's a decent sock length for me. I don't really like shorty socks that much, but well, it's like an almost 5-inch long, well, it is a 5-inch long leg, I believe. It'll work for me. But no, I love how this yarn is turning out. And it's a pretty dense gauge too, because this is like a little bit thicker of a sock yarn. And I'm knitting on a 2.25 millimeter needle. So it's a pretty thick fabric. Which is good though, because I am not nice to my knitted socks at all. But okay, those are all my works in progress. I'm going to put them all away, and we're going to talk about some acquisitions. You guys may be wondering why you can't hear Terry running around. She is sleeping in her bed right now, being very cute. I'll put in a picture so you guys can see her, but I'm happy she's not causing a ruckus. Well, she just got out of bed. Hi, Terry. You want to say hi? Here's Terry. Right, Terry. She was sleeping. Now she's probably going to come sleep on. Can you not? Okay. So I have some fiber acquisitions to show you, as well as some yarn acquisitions that Terry's got her eye on. So, okay, it's time for you to get down now. I think I just jinxed it. Now she wants... Hold on. So, as we all know, Jenny from Honeybird Studio is my bestie. No, Terry, no, we're not going to play with the plastic, okay? I spoke too soon. Terry's going to start being rowdy. So Jenny and I did a gift exchange. I sent her some yarn and she sent me some fun little things. And she sent me more, which I'm very grateful for. But now, like, I feel like I need to get her more stuff. Jenny, just wait. Just wait. So she sent me some fiber from Fibers West, which is a festival kind of deal in Canada. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna take some things out of plastic so that it's not super crinkly. So hold on. She sent this. It's from Lindhaven Farms, which she said is local to her, I believe. And it's Romney, Mulberry Silk, and Angelina. And this is, the weight says 585, so 5.85, so I assume this is in ounces. But it's this very pretty bat of purple fiber. I almost said yarn. It's so soft. It's like a pillow. Oh my goodness. I'm very excited to, I don't know how to spin from a bat. I don't know if there's like a certain technique that you use, or how you split the fiber, but I'm very excited to learn. It says, okay, Terry, no, let's stop. But I'm gonna put this back in the plastic. I had to hide it from Terry. Terry really likes to, but I'm very excited to use that purple fiber. I was thinking that'd be a really good hat. Purple would look really good with my hair. She sent some other fiber things. So there's this one. It's from Chaotic Fibers. It's 40% alpaca, 30% Polworth, and 30% BFL. It's 100 grams. And it's this beautiful natural, it's not dyed, it's just the natural colors. And this is so soft. Beautiful. Terry's trying to eat the birds. I mean, not eat the birds, but like she can see the birds outside in the window. But with this, I was thinking, I was kind of like playing with this just to see what it would look like when it's twisted. I was thinking a pair of fingerless gloves would be really nice. It'd be really warm. Like if I knit, like if the body of the glove was like super long, that'd be, ooh. I feel like this would be a very warm fabric. I love this. It's so soft. Oh my goodness. Very soft. Love it. The other one is also from Chaotic Fibers, and it's 60% BFL, 40% bamboo, and it's 150 grams. This is so pretty. Oh, it's so cute. So I haven't given much thought of what this might become. We'll have to see what weight I end up spinning it at. As I said before, I'm still experimenting and just trying to spin consistently. So I'm terrified to use these because like they're so precious that I'm terrified to spin with them. So I'm going to keep practicing before I use any of this fiber that Jenny gave to me. Because maybe, well, maybe this could be like a bralette or a camisole or something, or maybe like a little mini shawl. Because like since these are a gift, I want it to be something that I can use for a long time. So like the gloves, and maybe this could be like a scarf or like a little scarf shawl thing. So yeah. Beautiful little braids. Thank you so much, Jenny. I can't stop looking at this. It's so pretty. thank you so much, Jenny, for thinking of me while you're at Fibers West. I appreciate it so much. Jenny, your gift is coming, I promise. I'm sending you more stuff at some point. Just wait. She also sent some undyed yarn that I can experiment with dyeing. So this is Birkeland Bros wool. It's their Corriedale DK 3-ply yarn. It's 200 grams and 600 meters. So I believe Birkeland Bros is local to her. I remember her talking about that at some point. But I'm thinking of natural dyeing all of these. So I have some turmeric that I would like to dye this in and knit a camisole out of. I think that'd be really nice. Because I've been loving yellow, and I think like the turmeric would make it a lighter, because this is kind of like an off-white color. I know nothing about dyeing, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but. And then I really like blackberries, and I buy blackberries a lot. And blackberries stain everything. So I was like, I could dye something with blackberries. And so there's this mohair and this 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon that I was thinking of dyeing with blackberries, and then I could, sorry. Excuse me. Venetia from the Woolly Workers, she knit a birds of a feather shawl and just like one skein of mohair and probably, this is 420 yards, 110 grams. I could probably do like a hat and mittens. Ooh, a hat and mittens. Because the blackberry is probably going to turn this like a pink mauve color. That's probably what I'll do. This is amazing. It's so soft. I'm so excited to work with these. Thank you, Jenny. Okay. Sorry, I had a moth scare last week. It's very muggy out. Well, it's been kind of muggy out the past couple of weeks. And there was a moth in my kitchen. I freaked out. I could not sleep that night. And so the next day I panicked and put everything in my yarn room in plastic, because before it was just sitting out. Just sitting out, or just sitting in my yarn cubby. So I put everything in a Ziploc bag. So my yarn room doesn't really look that pretty anymore. But, and then I know moths don't like citrus smells, so I wiped down everything in that room with lemon, like a lemon Clorox wipe. You know what I'm talking about. And then freaked me out. I put everything in plastic. If it's not in a Ziploc bag, it's in a garbage bag, which is gonna make my yarn smell like a scented garbage bag. But you know, whatever. That's why Wool Wash exists. But then I realized, because they were only in the kitchen, so then I realized that they're pantry moths, I guess. So then I did the same thing. I took everything out of the pantry, wiped it down with lemon and bleach. And then I burned a cinnamon and clove candle because moths don't like the smell of clove. And I haven't seen a moth since. So Terry also just ate like a whole moth too. Like, I don't know if she like sensed my stress, but like there was one on the window and she just swallowed it. She just put it in her mouth and just swallowed it. So she's fine, I guess. So I have some more acquisitions to show you. I don't know how I ended up talking about my moth scare, but I have some acquisitions. I told you guys that my boyfriend bought me some yarn from Joann's, and then when I bought that extra skein of yarn that I needed for my dad's sweater, I got some yarn. So we're gonna talk about that. So from Michael's, I just bought 6 skeins of the woolies in the color wheat. So it's this tweedy white color. I don't necessarily have a plan for this. I didn't have anything in mind. I just saw woolies, and I know I need 5 or 6 skeins of this to make a sweater. So I just bought 6 of them. I'm thinking something stockinette just so that this yarn shines. These things are just plastic, but you know, it'll look nice. I'm thinking, maybe the Harlow sweater, because I know I wanted to make another one of those. Maybe, no. If I'm gonna make the Harlow sweater again, I want it to be in a fun color. So I'm not sure. Maybe this will be reserved for a test knit or something. I'm also only showing you 1 skein of everything because everything is in plastic, and I didn't want to take everything out of the plastic and then put it back. So we're just gonna deal with seeing 1 skein, okay? Okay. So now getting into stuff that my boyfriend bought me. I forgot something, hold on. Okay, I'm back. So my boyfriend bought me some Patton's Core Socks. I mean, I picked out the yarn. He was just like, I'll buy it for you. So I was like, Patton's Core Socks FX in Clover colors. I'm just gonna put it over here because the light's gonna make it look strange. So yeah, it's just a marled sock yarn. I'm obsessed. I have 2 of these to make a pair of socks for me. This thing keeps falling off my shoulders. Okay. And then I got some Kobu in the color pink. Or pink rose. Pink. It's pink. I was thinking of making the 05 tie-side tank by Eleanor Alice. I have a navy dress with pink flowers on it. They're more mauve, kind of like a dusty red pink, but I still think this would like bring out the lighter little petals in that dress. So I have 6 of these. The only thing is with that pattern, it calls for like a 2.75 needle, and this is for like a 4. So, or this could be just a Cumulus Blouse. One of those. I'm thinking the Cumulus Blouse because that's gonna be way too tight of a gauge for the 05 tie-side tank. So I'll probably just do a Cumulus Blouse or the Cumulus Tee. Not sure. The other one I did get some woolly wools. I got some Patton's Classic Wool Worsted. I cannot be stopped, okay? Patton's Classic Wool Worsted is the love of my life. Don't tell my boyfriend that, but it's 100% pure new wool. It's in the color Meadow. Sorry. In the color Meadow, it's this beautiful grass green. I'm gonna make an eclair raglan out of this. If you've been a long-time viewer, you would have known that I made the eclair raglan in an acrylic yarn, and I messed up the cables, and I left those mistakes in there, and I don't really wear that sweater anymore. So I have 8 skeins of this, and I'm going to remake the eclair raglan, and I think I'm gonna do the split hem because there's an option for the split hem, and I'm gonna do a folded collar. I was thinking about the turtleneck option, but I'm just gonna do a folded collar for that. So I was doing, I was looking through the information of this on Ravelry. This used to be, okay, this one is 194 yards in 100 grams. These balls used to be 210 yards. there used to be more yardage on these things, and now, I mean, you still get a lot out of this. Like, you still get a lot. Like, I get a shawl and a sweater and just 8 skeins. So, highly recommend this a lot. And I really like the color. It's so pretty. The last one is Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in the color Natural. So, I'm thinking either the Billy Pullover by Sari Nordland, because I have that pattern and I really want a white cabled sweater, or the Arctic Lite sweater by Veronica Lindberg. But that one, I think, no, that one's also for a 5mm needle. I have 4 of these. So I think, I mean, it'll definitely be enough for a sweater, but I'm not sure which one to go for. I've had the Arctic Lite sweater pattern for, I keep burping, I'm sorry. I've had the Arctic Lite sweater pattern longer than I had the Billy Pullover, so I might do that, and I've been wanting to make that pattern for so long. So it might be the Arctic Lite. We'll see. And we're gonna talk about some future plans. So I still have yet to cast on my Ripple bralette. I talked earlier, I don't have a lot of smaller needles to use for summer knits and things like that. So I'm limited on those. So still holding off on my Ripple bralette until I have the needles for that. So I'm gonna take a drink of water. I am going to cast on my Ripple bralette at some point. It's just when I get the needles. So since all my smaller needles are being used up and I can't really cast on things, we're gonna have to cast on some 5mm projects. So I bust out my woolly wools. And my next cast on is going to be with this Patterns Classical Worsted. I've had this, okay, there's a little bit of a story behind this. In around like September, October, maybe November, I was working on the Dunes cardigan by Kadri in this yarn. I messed up the lace. I ripped it out. I think I only talked about this cardigan in a vlog. It never made it to a podcast because I messed up the lace. I didn't want a frog. I just let it sit. So I made a reel on Instagram of me like washing this yarn. Just so that I can, you know, reuse it. And it won't mess up my gauge terribly because it is the stockinette mostly cardigan. So I am going to be remaking the Dunes cardigan because it's on a 5mm needle. And I have a lot of 5mm needles, and I've been wanting to try the Dunes cardigan again because my goal for this year is to get more comfortable with lace. So this is in the color Natural Mix. The birds outside are making fun of Terry because she can't get them and she's getting very mad. So she's like punching the window, I'm sorry. So yeah, the Dunes cardigan will be cast on again. The only reason why I messed up the lace is because I didn't do the increases like she told me to in the pattern. I was like, oh, like I don't need those. I don't need my cardigan to have random increases. You need those random increases to get your stitch count for the lace. So I'm excited to do this again. I'm excited to go back to 5mm needles. Like when I started knitting, I only knit on 5mm needles. Like, it kind of makes me feel nostalgic, but whatever. And speaking of doing things that I used to do when I started knitting, I've knit the terrazzo sweater so many times by Petite Knit. I have 3 versions in an acrylic yarn that I don't really wear. And I've been wanting a neutral one for a long time, and I've been wanting one that's in wool for a long time. So I have some Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in the color Birch Tweed. and I will be making a terrazzo sweater out of this, because it also calls for a 5mm needle. I'm very excited. I've had this yarn since, Joann's. I bought this in September, I believe. September of 2023. That's how long I've had this yarn. This yarn I've had since December or January. I got it in a D-stash. So yeah. And then the last plan that I have is for the camisole number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I have these 2 Queensland Collection Kathmandu fingering. I knit my Alino Te out of this, my orange one. It's 425 yards for 100 grams. It's 85% wool, 10% silk, and 5% cashmere, which is the little tweed bits in here. It's in the color Iris. So, oh, it's gonna look so good on me. So this is gonna be camisole number 8. I don't remember what needle size that is, but I'm sure by the time I get around to casting this on, I'm gonna have some needles free. So I'm very excited. Oh, this is gonna be so good for cabled camisole. I haven't seen a lot of people make camisole number 8, so I'm excited to do that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. So let's just talk. That's all like the knitting things I really have to show. Not too much has been going on. I've just still waiting to hear back on my dispatch job. But that's going really well. They're wrapping up my background check and then I'll be able to start soon. Which is good because I've been very stressed out, okay? Like, I have bills to pay, okay? But no, I've just been staying home because they told me, like, because the hiring process takes a while, because I'm getting hired through the police station. I can't get another job, so they told me not to. So I was like, okay. So I've just been hanging out. But I'm excited that that's wrapping up and that I can start working. So, the Fiola Cal is going on. I'm so excited. The day I'm filming this is the kickoff day for it. So I believe in the afternoon I'm gonna start casting on. It calls for a 3.75mm needle, and I think you like cast on like immediately in the round for the neck, and my 16-inch 3.75mm needle is being used right now. So I really need to read through the pattern though, because like last time I tried to knit it, I was so confused. So, but that was like when I started. Not when I started knitting. I tried to cast it on last year when I moved to Wyoming. So, but I'm very excited for that. I can't wait to see how everyone's versions come out. I'm so excited. So, I've been planning for next week's video. First I was gonna do a spin with me, but then I haven't really been feeling motivated to spin. So I just scrapped that. And then I was gonna do a stash tour video. But then I was like, then I have to get everything out of the plastic and it's just gonna be a whole deal. So then I scrapped that. So I'm just gonna be doing another vlog. So I'll be starting that sometime today. It'll just be another week of knitting, what I get up to. Because you guys really like my vlogs. So I'll just be doing another week of knitting vlog. I think with my next cast on, I'm going to do, I really like watching project vlogs, like watching people like from start to finish work on something. So my next cast on, I'm going to film like that whole process. So that'll be a video that'll come out at some point. So just so that like I'm not scrambling, because like I do plan like my YouTube videos. So yeah, and my vlog, because I also like to talk about my plans for like the next month. In my vlog, I'll be talking about my plans for May. So yeah, but that's all I have to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.